I'm happy you're joining me today for Travel Talk. Today, I'm chatting with comedian, author, actor, restaurateur, dog dad, George Lopez. Hi, George.
Hey, yeah, dog that. It was funny before everything went down, the whole quarantine, this girl, Natalie, that I started to rescue dogs with a pit bull that is the sweetest, most gentle dog that actually went in and had, he was evidence in an animal abuse case, was about to get the needle, and I rescued him about 12 hours before that. And then the quarantine happened. And then I think now at the shelter, I mean, not being able to go out, those poor animals, I don't know how they're going to resolve that, but I could probably imagine. So I got this guy, and he's really very sweet and very, very gentle. I can't believe that anybody would ever abuse a dog like that. He's just the greatest dog.
No, me either. We have a tripod. We have a three-legged dog I rescued from Cleveland, Ohio. And that dog brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
I see the smile on your face. I'm sure those dog babies bring you joy too. So, George, you travel so much. You travel a lot for work, you travel for pleasure, and you also travel to do good. And would you like to share a little bit about what you did just before the holidays with your travels?
Well, I got a couple of armed forces entertainment when we went to Germany, but the one that came in December of 19 was on a whim. Like, they asked the soldiers, servicemen and women on the USS Harry Truman, who would you like to see if we could get somebody here? And they said me. So the USO sent me a request, thinking that I wouldn't do it. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go see them. And it may have been the longest 2 days and the most complex 4 days of any of my travel. We flew from Los Angeles to Dubai, and then to Bahrain, and then on an airplane, and then on the carrier, and then we did a show that night. But they were all very appreciative. I didn't meet one person, one soldier that was, and this is when they're all pulling in the same direction, and not any of them said to me on the side, take me with you, which, but they all were very committed to what they were doing. And they had just had their extension. They were going to go on land. And when that didn't happen, they were, there was the morale was low. And then we went over there and did some stuff. I met everybody. I didn't realize those warships are really like 7 stories tall, and we're going to go down to the boiler room and then go up to the top and then back to the bottom and then back to the top. It was, I would do anything for the service people. Like I said, we don't really think about our freedom or the protection of our freedom. We kind of take it for granted, but, throughout the history of this country, people have laid their lives down for the ability for you and I to do what we do and everything that goes on in the world safely. And, they should always be appreciated, and they should never go without entertainment. So I think as entertainers that, I can't tell anybody to go, but it should just be something you do. Like in Mexico, you have to walk on your knees to the altar at some point in your life. Every entertainer should go and perform for the service people.
Absolutely. I think that when you act out of gratitude, there's always a wonderful payoff, because it's contagious. When we lift each other, the whole world elevates. That's the mantra that I live my life by.
I'd never gone in that direction. Never been to Dubai. I mean, I wasn't there very long, maybe 2 hours, but if anybody has been to the Dubai airport, that it is more opulent. Whatever's considered the best mall of America, or Rodeo Drive, it's Rodeo Drive inside. And the elevator, it looks like somebody's living room. Our elevators at LAX are tiny. And that thing, everybody fit in it, and it's well lit, it's clean, it's safe. I could see myself just going to Dubai and shopping, and then just get back on a plane and come back.
Just hang out in the airport, come back after that.
It's the most unbelievable, impressive thing that I'd ever seen.
So I know you've seen a lot of places. You travel to your shows most every weekend domestically. You've traveled internationally. Where's some of your favorite places that you visited?
Well, when I was growing up, nobody was I think it's clear to say that I don't think anybody had ever picked up a golf club. They may have held the club in anger, but never for recreation. And as I was growing up, I would somehow find myself watching golf. You know, the British Open. I'd always get up really early. I still do, because my grandparents both worked and got up at 5, and they didn't care. It was just the three of us. They didn't care that I was sleeping at any time. So I never really sleep in. So I would watch the British Open. It was bad weather. It was raining. It was in Scotland. They had big scoreboards. And I started to go out in the backyard and hit lemons with this club that we had in the garage. I don't know where we got it. And as I grew up, I started to appreciate golf a little bit more. I had a science teacher that on Monday, he would talk for at least the first half hour was about golf. And then it was a little bit about science. But he's such a huge fan of golf. And we just let him talk, because the more he talked, the less we had to do in that particular class. So as I started to recognize the names of people he was talking about, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson, then Lee Trevino. I started to see Lee Trevino, very inspirational to me. He and I are almost like family now, close as friends. But to go to Scotland for the first time in like 2005, and to play at St. Andrews, and to play at Carnoustie, and to play, and just really even to be in Scotland after seeing it for so many years, was almost like, I mean, when you travel, you see things that are beautiful that you can't believe you saw. But I think standing on the first tee in front of the Royal Ancient Club there, and standing there at St. Andrews after hitting lemons in my grandmother's backyard, is one of the things that I would have never imagined happening. There's a lot of things that I have done that I could not imagine happening, but that's probably the one, because we didn't travel growing up, and my grandparents weren't poor. They weren't rich, but they weren't poor. And they always wanted to go to Israel. They always wanted to go to Nazareth. They wanted to go see the churches. They wanted to go see the Wailing, and they never went, only because they would talk each other out of it. So people that don't really get a chance to travel, if you're older, or even if you're younger, because time goes by like that, never really hesitate on traveling, because you're going to be, this is what I thought of when I was at St. Andrews. That place had been there for over 1,000 years. I'm going to be gone, and they're still going to be playing. So you have to go there, because they're going to keep going whether you go or not. So it's better to go see something than to always have seen something.
I agree with you. I think there's a transformative power in travel. And when you're describing that moment on the first tee, I can feel it. It's very emotional and powerful. And you mentioned Israel. When I'm asked one of my favorite places that I've ever visited, it's Israel, because no matter where you come from religiously, you're walking on history. Mm-hmm. And to your point about things will always be there, Israel's been there and will be there. And it's a very emotional experience. We went with my 18-year-old son.
Yeah, when we went to the River Jordan, you know, knowing and standing there, and, you know, it comes to you that you're standing there on the top, and you're looking at people in the water, and you're looking at older couples hold on to each other while the man holds onto the rail, or the woman, and they're holding each other, and literally practically crawling to the water to get in the water. Younger people, you go and you can buy the white outfit that you can wear. And as I stood there, I thought, am I going in? And I said, nah, I don't think so. And more as I saw people struggle, I started to remember about my grandmother and grandfather wanting to go. I went in for them. I mean, that, you know, that the fact that they couldn't, it's funny, I used to cry all the time, and now not very much. But I went for them. Like, I didn't see that couple's face, but I saw their walk, and it reminded me a lot of, like I said, maybe somebody put them there. There's no coincidence. Maybe somebody put those two people there with their back to me so that I could remember my grandparents and go in for them.
That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful.
Then the guy videotaped it, and it's in the shop. And now occasionally I'll run into somebody that said, I went to the River Jordan, man. You're on the loop. Are
you getting a royalty for that?
I wonder it was free.
No, there's supposed to be a royalty.
Awesome. But to go in the water I never, you know, it's funny how whenever you get in water, you always go, you go to the beach or you go to the pool, you go, is it warm? Is it cold? That water I didn't care about. It could have been freezing. I still would have got it. I didn't care about what temperature it was.
That's awesome. I love that story. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about travel. I think we're in a challenging time, and I know that when the time is right, this will pass. And I really want to encourage people to get back out there and see the world. It's only a plane ride away.
Well, if you're not afraid,